Hello healers and health seekers, it's me, Itoda, healing with medical medium information for about 3 years now. If you want to know what I'm healing from, mast cell activation disorder, dysautonomia, POTS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypothyroid, migraines, PCOS, systemic exertion intolerance disorder, multiple chemical sensitivity, SIBO, and a list of other diagnoses. The information is in the description box below, and you can follow the links and find out more. Today it's time for What's Up Wednesday. That's when I come in here and make a video about my progress in my healing journey, or just my healing journey and what's going on. And currently it is day 26 of the Medical Medium 28-day raw cleanse. It is also day 26 of Raw Food June. I have been raw for 26 days. Raw, no overt fats, so fat-free and salt-free. And that has been going amazingly well. I'm not entirely sure how I do it sometimes, but I just take it day by day, and each day I end up eating fully raw, often to my own surprise. I do, of course, start out each day with the intention of eating fully raw, but as we are under a great deal of stress right now, it hasn't been easy, I think, in ways. I've only really managed to stick to it by the fact that it's the one thing I have control over in my life right now, is my food. So I've just told myself, this is what I'm doing, this is how I eat right now, and I keep eating that way. And yes, I am very proud of myself for that. And yes, I do feel that that is an accomplishment. And normally on a raw cleanse, if somebody were not under probably a great amount of stress like I am, I would have more energy and I would be feeling great. And as it is right now, what is actually happening is I feel the need to sleep a lot more. And what has been happening is a lot of detox and a lot of raw emotions have been coming up, and that has been quite a struggle for me. Part of it, obviously, is because we are under a great deal of stress. We are in this transition where currently our plan was to go to Colorado, and we took a month-long trip to visit our families on the way to Colorado and decided, no, we should stay closer to our families. Our parents are getting older, etc., etc., so we wanted to stay closer. And since we made that choice, it's been a couple of months that we've been here and living in the RV. And the RV is fine, you know, it's comfortable, it's got everything I need in my kitchen. It's, for an RV, it's pretty spacious, and it's got, as you can see behind me, lots of cabinets, and for an RV, a decent amount of counter space. But it's still a giant tin box, and it's smaller than most spaces we're used to living in, and it can be hard to live in here for an extended period of time. Right now, for the past few days, this is the third day actually, I have been going through a period of, I guess you could say, just deep, deep sadness and grief, because some things have come to light that have made it a lot less appealing to make the choice we've made about staying near our families. And I guess a lot of those things have really been highlighted for me. Kind of a big spotlight is being shown on them as we focus our attention more on this process. And it's nothing about jobs. It's a little bit about housing. It's mostly about our families, and I don't really want to go into it here. It's personal, and it's very difficult, and I'll just tell you that I've been really struggling for the past few days, and I've been going through a great deal of emotions. I have used every tool in my toolbox that I know to use. I have been doing emotion code for myself, which is helpful, but it's not something that I personally am able to do every day. I know some people can, and for me it doesn't work to do it that way. I need time to integrate the things that are processing, like a few days. So I've done one emotion code session for myself, and I've done one for my son and one for my husband. I can do more than one in a day as long as, some of them are for other people. And it's just a lot. Trying to process all of these things while being in this transitional space is a lot, and it's difficult. It's been difficult to maintain a routine. I am getting there to the point where I am building up that routine again, and that is happening, and I'm glad of that, but it doesn't always stay in place, and it's taken all this time to kind of get that routine going. And yesterday I had to take a break from everything and just spend the day in bed alone with myself, because I just needed space and I couldn't get it any other way. I'm just struggling right now. I just really am. I guess physically I'm feeling okay, and things are probably going as well as they are because I'm doing this raw cleanse, and the raw food is really supporting me, at least when I eat enough of it. But days like yesterday, when I take a big break from everything, I'm not able to get enough food into myself, and that doesn't support me very well when I can't eat enough. Especially when my adrenals are running extra hard and I need to be probably eating like way more fruit and supporting my body even better. Instead, I was kind of sleeping and just taking a break from everything and crying a lot. There's just going to be times in the healing journey, there are just times where sometimes things don't feel good, right? Because life still happens, and sometimes you're in the middle of a big, huge transition, and all of a sudden you have to regroup and recalibrate and try to figure out what you're really going to do next, and that can be a really difficult process. I'm seeing that there's still a lot of wounds, a lot of old wounds with my family of origin, and basically I'm just feeling that right now. I'm feeling all of the pain and the wounding and the grief and the sorrow about it. I guess the truth is, I've been through a couple of days of really, really heavy darkness, and I have been using the tools that I have. I've been using emotion code, and I have been talking to the angels and calling out to them, and I've been praying, and I've been meditating, and still the pain is there for me to feel. So I guess there's more for me to learn from it. I guess there's more for me to see of what it needs and what that small child in me needs. I've been talking to friends, reaching out for support a little bit anyway. Not as much as I need to, but I have been a little bit. I got to take a walk yesterday, which was nice, just to get out of the RV. I don't get out of the RV as much as I'd like to. It rains here a lot, and that's great for the plants. It's summer. It's raining here this year an amount way more than it usually rains, like flood level amounts, and a lot of areas have been flooding. Like we had a flash flood a couple days ago that we couldn't get out, but then by the afternoon we could, so it wasn't that bad. But we're lucky because we're in sort of a non-flood area, whereas a lot of the areas around are flood areas, so a lot of areas are flooded and covered in water, and it's akin to the flood of 1993. where everything was covered in water like it is now. And I think that what I heard was that the water levels here this year are actually surpassing the 1993 floods, so we've been lucky mostly to stay away from it. We did have a really big storm here the other day that came through, the whole town by where we are, and the whole area. It was like in the whole area, this whole part of the state. And the Weather Service had issued severe thunderstorm warnings, and they said 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. And so I immediately started asking the angels to please protect us, protect the whole area, not just my family, but like the whole area from the hail and the heavy winds, and keep us safe in the storm. Because I love summer storms. I do. It's one of the things I missed about the Midwest. I missed things like fireflies, and I missed summer thunderstorms. I always loved summer thunderstorms where you could feel the electricity in the air. But I'll tell you what, having been through a few of these thunderstorms in the RV, not just now, but when we were traveling before through California, yeah, they're not as much fun as when you're sitting on the porch of a brick house and you're totally safe and you can feel the electricity in the air, but if it gets too intense, you can just go inside. When you're in an RV and the wind is like whipping through, it shakes the RV, and when there's a threat of like quarter-size hail, that's scary. That gets the adrenals going. That's pretty hard. So I just called out to the angels for protection, just over and over again, asked them for protection, asked them to protect this area and keep us safe. And then like the next warning that the Weather Service issued was for only nickel-size hail. And then what actually happened is the storms did come through and there was some heavy wind, but there was no hail and we were safe. And the only really frightening thing that ended up happening of it, other than the wind rocking the RV, which is a little bit disconcerting, is that lightning struck so close to the RV that I heard a click inside the RV, and one of the fuses blew inside the RV, which means the electricity surpassed the fuse box, upon which there is, so the electrical hookup outside has a surge guard on it to protect exactly the electricity inside the RV from things like surges of electricity from storms. But that's how close this lightning was, and we heard it strike outside. So that was a little bit terrifying, and the adrenaline was definitely going, and I was definitely having more adrenal snacks and fruit to cool it down, but we were safe and the storms passed, and then it was like it had never happened. Nature is so interesting that way. And when we looked outside, nothing was down. Like the trees were all still standing and everything was still in its place, and there were a couple of trash cans blown over, but other than that, like nothing was out of place. Everything was where it was supposed to be. So I thanked the angels for that. I thanked everything for that. Thank you, universe. Thank you for keeping us safe. Maybe those big adrenaline surges from the storms are partly why I'm in this like down space these past 3 days. I don't know. I don't usually stay in a space like this long. I don't usually stay in grief and sadness and processing of heavy emotions. So this is a new experience for me. The beautiful thing about my healing journey is in the past 3 years, the depression, the anxiety, things like that, the PTSD, the hair trigger, that stuff has gone away, and I really haven't had to deal with it. There's might be like little flashes here and there of these things coming up, but 3 days is a long time. I think it's the longest I've had to deal with any of this stuff. Probably part of it is like just the continued stress of being in the RV and taking these hits and stuff like that. And again, I really think the raw food is supporting me in a big way, especially like I said, when I eat enough. I haven't been these past couple of days. The other thing is these past couple of days is I have not been sleeping well at all. And that is not good for me. It messes with my moods and my emotions if I don't sleep well. And sleep used to, again, be a huge issue for me. Insomnia, waking throughout the night, all these things. And it has not been an issue for me for a while now. Like, over a year, more even, maybe 2 years. None of that stuff has been an issue. My sleep has been like delicious, like deliciously deep and restful and restorative, and I cherish sleep, of course, but it's just been such a good sleep in the past while since beginning this healing journey. And these past few nights have been a hot mess of waking up and disruptive dreams. And now I know the good thing about nightmares is that Anthony William, medical medium, has told us that the great thing about nightmares is that they are healing dreams. So you're processing things that you're doing big healing when you're having these nightmares. So that's great. Some of the nightmares have been great healing dreams. And other ones have just been like giant WTFs in the sky. Like, what was that? Why did I need to have that dream? And what, and be disrupted by it and have my sleep disrupted by it. And then my sleep doesn't feel restful. And then I'm so tired. Like, I wake up, and even like right now, I've been yawning throughout this video. It's edited out, but I wake up so tired and not rested, and then that makes me super grumpy through the day and very emotional, and then I don't eat enough, and it's like a whole vicious cycle, and it just keeps going. And so I just want you guys to know, I guess, that sometimes in this healing journey, no matter how far into it you are and how far you've come, there can always be little setbacks where you go through these periods of struggle, especially if you're under immense stress for an extended period of time. It wears on you and wears on you. And I think honestly doing Raw is really helping me be functional through that. But I'm definitely like, there's other people doing this cleanse at the same time who are posting like, oh, I'm feeling so great and I'm having so much energy and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm just being able to make it through each day right now. Like, that's my great achievement, honestly, is just making it through to another day and not having a complete mental breakdown. Yesterday, I did not achieve that. Yesterday, I did have a complete mental breakdown, and the day before. I'm not going to lie. It's been really hard, and some of the things I'm processing are they're really big. And sometimes in this journey, I feel like a freaking superhero for what I have overcome and what I have accomplished and what I do every day. And other times, I feel like a scared little girl. And I just feel like I want somebody to just hold me and help me. And I feel like I don't have the support that I really need in my physical life. And I feel like I'm not strong enough to do it alone. And I don't mean the foods or any of the medical medium stuff, honestly. That's sort of the easy part. At this point, that's automatic, and I don't really even have to think about it anymore. It's what I do, and I've incorporated it into my life to the point where none of it is really a struggle or too much or anything. But I just mean this life. I just mean the challenges that I face in this life and the things that I am processing and going through and trying to heal these old wounds. And several times during this healing process, not because of the healing process, but just during life, I have had the rug just totally pulled out from under me in ways where I thought things were a certain way, and I thought I had certain relationships that were true and solid in my life, only to discover that I was completely wrong about those things, and they were now gone. And it is hard. It is hard to realize that. It is hard to see that and to have that happen and to feel the pain of that and to keep going through it over and over again. When you think, okay, that was the last one, it's not going to happen again, and then it happens again. And then it happens with your family of origin and the people that you thought understood and cared about you in a particular way. It turns out that you were so wrong. And I've given away more than I want to about what I'm going through right now, but that is a struggle that I'm having, and I really am just feeling very vulnerable and very alone. I'll just say this about the emotion code session I did for myself. It was surprising to me how many times vulnerable could come up in one session in all these different parts of the body and at different times in my life. But it was like repeated over and over. And it like not surprising, because feeling vulnerable has always been an ongoing issue for me, and being afraid of that. But it was just one session. And I'm like, wow, this is just really coming up for me right now. And over again, I feel like I give my heart and soul to the relationships I'm in. I give my heart and soul to people. I love big. I love really big with all my heart. And it can be intense, I guess, for people. I don't know. But when I'm in a friendship and I'm in a relationship, I'm open, and I give all of myself to it, and it just can be very hard for me when that's not what people want or need in their life. So that's my week. I'm using all the tools that I have in my toolbox. I'm using emotion code. I'm listening to Matt Kahn. I'm doing the meditations. I'm talking to the angels. I'm talking to friends. I'm doing my best to get out in nature. I'm eating all the healing foods. And I'm trying really hard to have compassion for myself. I think that's a piece that's lacking. Kind of beating myself up about, like, I should be doing this or I should be doing that, and I'm not doing something right, and what's wrong with me. And sometimes that's just what happens, I guess. Sometimes that's just what we go through. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sharing my healing journey with me. I appreciate you all so much. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button and ding the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post a new video. I hope this isn't the first video of mine you've watched, because it's a sad and vulnerable one, and they're not usually like this. I'm not usually like this, but this is what I'm going through right now, and this is me being 100% authentic and real, and I don't really know any other way to be anyway. So anyway, I love you so much, my healers and health seekers. Stay curious, and I wish you the greatest blessings on your continued healing journey. Again, thank you so much for coming along with me on mine. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.